superpower, what would you pick? Jonathan, what would you pick?
I would like to stop time.
All right, you'd like
For everyone
to
but myself.
stop time for everyone but yourself. All right, well, I will bestow upon you this magical gift. You can stop time for everyone but yourself. However, every time you do that, the amount of time that you stop time, you lose that from the end of your life. We used to play this game all the time as a kid. One person will pick a superpower, the next person would pick some sort of drawback. For example, my sister might say she wants to speak in any language known to mankind. I would say, okay, but you have to be screaming. And one fateful night, I still remember this to this day. I was 9 years old. We were camping on the Delaware River. My parents had just gone to bed. It was me, my brother, and my sister all hanging around the campfire. Clear blue night. And I said, I want to fly. And my brother, this son of a bitch, he looked me in the eye and he said, okay, yeah, you can fly, but you suck at it. What does that mean? It's like, well, instead of rocketing gloriously into the sky, you float up awkwardly. You get blown around by the wind. Birds and hawks pick on you. You can't land. Sometimes you get caught in trees. People have to call the firemen to get you out. It's really embarrassing. You can fly, but you suck at it. And this was the most infuriating thing that I could even imagine. I remember I tried to think of something that was worse, and my 9-year-old brain couldn't comprehend anything. And so I was so frustrated, so sad, that I said, no, I don't even want it. No, I'm not taking it. But still, every time we played this game, I was always the one who said, I want to fly. There was just something about me that I needed that power. When we were toddlers, my brother used to climb down the stairs backwards, mechanically, one limb after the other, very cautious, very smart, very safe. I would go down head first, sliding down on my elbows and hands, just in time to catch me from face planting. When I learned to ski at age 5, I learned very quickly that if I tucked down like this, I could go a lot faster. And soon after that, I learned that if I laid down on my back, I could go even faster. I couldn't see where I was going, but I was going there really fast. It's kind of a miracle that I survived childhood. I was ostensibly a danger to myself. Between the ages of 7 and 16, I was in the hospital for an X-ray for, some broken wrist or dislocated shoulder or whatever every year. But I did survive childhood, eventually. I moved to San Francisco, I got a job, and I, for the first time, had money that my parents didn't give me. And so I did what I waited my entire life to do. I rented a car, I drove out into the middle of nowhere. It's a little town called Byron, California. There's some cows there, a lot of windmills, one cafe, and an airport. A very special airport where people go to jump out of planes. And I went there and I said, teach me. Because I knew, even at that moment, that it wasn't just a bucket list item for me. It was a lifestyle that I wanted. It was something that I wanted to do as frequently as possible. And so the training began immediately. The coach jumps began immediately. And for most skydivers, their first jump is a religious experience. For me, it was actually my 5th jump. I remember it. January 25th, 2015. It was just 6 weeks ago. I went to the drop zone. After 5 hours of waiting, it was finally my turn to go up. I geared up. My instructor geared up. We got on the plane. We flew 13,500 feet in the air. He opened the door. He walked out into the doorway. I walked out after him. He put his hand on my hips. I looked at him. I nodded. He looked at me. He nodded. I gave him the exit count. Up, down, and out. We stepped out into the blue abyss. After about 5 seconds, we reached a stable belly-to-earth position. We reached terminal velocity, and the sensation of falling has stopped. If I closed my eyes, it might have just been another really windy day. And I looked down at the ground, and I knew that I was hurtling towards it at 120 miles an hour, but it didn't look like I was. I mean, I was so far up. I was 2.5 miles above the earth. It just didn't look like it was getting closer. And at this point, my instructor released me. And I was falling on my own for the first time. And he swung out in front of me, and he gave me the signal. And I knew that meant that I was supposed to turn. See, I was supposed to do these 4 90-degree turns to show that I had control of my body during the fall. So I took my arms and used them as a giant rudder, and I turned 90 degrees. Perfect. Great. And at this moment, I had an epiphany. It didn't look like I was falling. Didn't feel like I was falling. I was using my body to maneuver through the sky. I was flying. I mean, for all intents and purposes, I was flying. There might be a certain animated toy cowboy who thinks that I'm falling in style, but I was flying. And then, in this moment of pure bliss, pure euphoria, I went to do my second 90-degree turn. My shoulder dipped, and some air got caught behind my back, and I went tumbling. Heels over head, limbs flailing uselessly. And as I was there, careening gracelessly through the sky like a rag doll, I had a second, even more real epiphany. I suck at this. And my brother's stupid 11-year-old face washed in front of my mind's eye, laughing at me. And it all came back. I always thought that that would be the most embarrassing thing that I could experience, most frustrating thing. It would be so frustrating that I wouldn't even want it. And I was wrong. So wrong. Thank you.